So, hello to you wherever you happen to be. I'm Jay Clifton Payne, and this has been a long time coming, a long time since I had a chance to stop and do one of these videos. And this is not necessarily, or not necessarily, this is not exactly the best timing to do anything like this, be honest. But it's the time that is here, the time that is now. So I figured I would take a shot and plug up the equipment as best as possible, get things going, and just kind of speak out to the community that I have out there. And I'm glad to have you out there in my community as a part of my tribe, if we're still calling it those things, to just talk about what's going on right now. And so this is specifically about the panic, I'll call it, of the coronavirus. And just let you know that there's no need to panic. Now, I've already been more or less putting out these messages throughout the week as I've been dealing with things at my job where we've literally been shutting down a school campus, preparing to go to online classes and go early for spring break to deal with the situation here in Arkansas. Many other school districts, including my daughter and her elementary school district, they're doing the same thing. So my sidekick is hanging out with me as I'm working, taking care of things. But here's the biggest thing about this. On Friday, I released two podcasts. One was for the 10-Minute Life Lesson podcast, and the other for the Project Positive message. And they do serve different audiences, but they both had the same topic, the same title produced for this week and for the day. That is, don't panic. I brought up the fact that we are looking at, or at least last year, we looked at the 40th anniversary of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of the book, that is. The actual origination of the story came from radio play a year earlier. But this has been a long time since we've had this great piece of literature, your knowledge may vary, which came up with the line that people have been saying for forever: don't panic. And unfortunately, if you've been looking for toilet paper and sanitizer, in fact, before people started to ramp up the efforts to do the social distancing, uh, toilet paper and sanitizer was being cleaned off the shelves, and now some people are feeling the reckoning as they are stuck with garages full of sanitizers that they can't sell on eBay and Amazon because they're cracking down on people, basically making the prices go skyrocket, taking dollar units of sanitizer and selling them for $70. That's just really happening, and people, because it's times of panic, are really buying it because of a lack of knowledge. So I'm going to go through very quickly in this video for you guys here on these platforms what I talked about on Friday on both those platforms, and it was very quick for the whole issue of panicking. And this, of course, is something. Now is the time to learn the lesson, because we're in a state where we have some time to learn the lesson going forward, because we will prevail. We will get over this. We will move on, move forward. Now, overall, the thing you need to know, overarching thing, is don't panic. Simple. Don't panic. Whenever you're in a stressful situation, whenever you're facing something that's an imminent threat, the first thing you need to know, the second thing you need to know, and the third thing you need to know is don't panic. Calmer heads always prevail over the situation. You may not get out of it totally unscathed. You may not get out of it without any single scratch or injury, but don't panic. Think it through. And you start off with the stages for not panicking by being prepared, having a plan ahead of time, knowing how to do things before you come into some sort of contact with a coronavirus or a natural disaster or a fire or whatever. Because here's the thing: things are going to catch us off guard for the rest of our lives. This is a really big one right now, but there'll be plenty of other things popping up that you'll go through in your lifetime. Earthquakes, natural disasters. If you happen to live through a financial crisis, which I've lived through actually two of them, a dot-com bubble and a big financial loss again, it happens. It will happen, and you'll be caught off guard, but not completely out of the loop if you have some sort of plan ahead of time. And for right now, that means if you get a chance to stock up on things, and once you start to see that supply dwindle, keep a little bit on the back end. I'm not saying it's time to be a doomsday prepper. We've had a lot of conversations with people who have kind of gone into that realm and they're ready to basically go to their bunkers and live this thing out for forever. This is not the zombie apocalypse. This is a very serious issue, but not panicking. So, number one, have a plan from the get go. Always have a plan for something just in case something goes wrong. It's not a bad thing to have some sort of plan of action. Make sure you know who you need to talk to, who your family needs to get in contact with, who your kids need to talk to in case something goes wrong. In order to actually have a plan, you really need to be able to be informed, or at least to implement the plan to its fruition, to most successful. So be informed. Check out the sources that you're getting your information from. Social media is a great way to spend a lot of time and spread quickly information through certain circles, but often that information is second, third hand, and to be honest, garbage. I say this as I'm doing a video that's going live over social media channels because I want to make sure you know some of the information out there in the other circles you're going through is garbage. And yes, I actually produce a podcast that does news clips. And every so often we put out clips to sources that aren't so great. But it's the collective that works to make these things work. So be informed. You may not like a certain media outlet, but turn to them every so often, including that one in your watching, your viewing habits, along with the one that you normally watch. I'm not calling out any names because this is not about calling people out, but certain outlets are taking this thing way too seriously, and certain outlets are taking this thing as kind of a joking hoax. So you have to kind of weigh both of them because right now everybody's on the serious train. Everybody's taking in the information very, very, very seriously and dealing with disseminating what's happening in various places. New York has an area to come a containment zone, which is not quite locked down, but to keep an eye on everyone going in and out. The state of Washington is in a serious state of panic because the cases up there were, I guess, the biggest hotspot it was, the first big hotspot, became so overwhelming so quickly that it was a problem. And of course, we know about the main issues for this virus. It is something that's highly contagious. That means we can all get it, but it isn't something that's necessarily dangerous to people unless they are of older persuasion, older ages, or they have an underlying health issue. Respiratory issues is essentially what does with this. So we have something that is already affecting your immune system, then you should be in the social distancing realm. But how do you know this? Because you get this from actual good information, actual people who talk about things, and you listen to them up front. So make sure that your sources of information are clear, are credible, and are basically updated on a normal basis. And the third thing in the non-panic world is other people are going to panic. Other people are going to say crazy things. Other people are going to do whatever they can to cope with it in the wrong way. And that means you need to be away from them. Something I learned 20 odd years ago, and it seems odd to say that I went through survival training, but in my Air Force training, we went through a very small, short survival training course where we were left out in the woods to our devices, to ourselves, and had to basically live on our own for 2 days. It turned into kind of a camp out thing because we were kids and they weren't going to actually let us really starve. But one of the things that was very important in the lesson, the big thing that the trainer wanted us to know about these situations is panic. And we're talking about not panicking, but how easy it is to cause a mass panic. The scenario we gave was the group of us basically on a marching through the woods, getting from point A to point B, wherever that was. And there's some catastrophe going on, and it's our job to get to point A to point B because we have to save the world, whatever. And we are marching through the woods, and we're just going along as fast as possible. And the guy in the back of the battalion is mumbling to himself, "We're all going to die. We're all going to die." And there's a whole group of highly motivated people ready to get to that checkpoint so we can do that magical thing that the movies have, and we're going to save the world. But there's the one guy who is losing it, who's losing faith, and we're all going to die. We're all going to die. So what happens when that one guy starts doing that little chant and talking to himself and talking about how this is a horrible idea, we're not going to survive, it's a useless for us to try this, much faster than you can even believe, the whole entire group starts to basically sing the same song together. We all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all let that one person with that crazy idea go crazy and speak his mind long enough. He she, whoever, will convince other people that the situation is much more dire and useless than it is. And they will feed into other people, and they will feed into other people. And that is how you get mass panic, because one person freaked everybody out. So if you're dealing with someone in your social distancing that is a little whacked out, do an extra bit of social distancing from that person, no matter what the situation is. Not just right now. Maybe they are one of those people on social media who has all the crazy whacked out ideas that always make you go like, why do I talk to this guy? You don't have to talk to that guy, especially in times of stress and panic. Those are the exact times we need to back away from those people. You can love them, but you can love them from afar. You can check in on them, make sure that they're safe, but you don't have to have long, extended conversations with them. These are not the people to call your trusted sources for information. These are not the people to let sit around with your kids to watch them while you're off foraging for food or fighting zombies or whatever apocalypse is coming next. These are the people that you make sure they're fine and you make sure they are not in the mass population. It's serious. This is real. This is a serious thing. Now, we are dealing with this coronavirus around the world, and it's going to be something that's going to be with us literally as a virus going through our bodies for a while. We'll soon have some sort of vaccine and some sort of treatments for it so we can get through it if we actually catch it. But this is not going to be the last really big thing. Yes, we've had plenty of other epidemics along the lines. Very few of them have been called anything close to a worldwide pandemic, but we've had them. Earthquakes, we have them. Tornadoes, we have them. Floods, we have them. Other mass craziness, riots for whatever reason, they will happen. But cool heads always prevail over situation. Staying calm, staying collected, staying in your head, and not being affected by the craziness around you will help you get through whatever's going on. 3 pieces to make sure you're not panicking, whether it's your situation right now with the coronavirus issues or whether it's the next thing that pops up that's going to be stressful. Have a plan. Have a plan before anything goes wrong. And it doesn't have to be a grand plan. It can be as simple as I've got a spare bedroom with nobody's staying in it right now. Let me stash some supplies in there. Let me make sure the tent's in there fine. Let me make sure the air mattress is good. We put some batteries back there. We have a generator in case we lose power. We stick it in the closet so it's out the way in case someone stays in the room. Have a plan. Know where to go when something goes wrong. Know who to see when something goes wrong. Make sure the children know what to do. Number 2, stay informed. And that does mean listening to what the other side is saying, but not getting so worked up about it because you want to know what the other side is saying about the same thing that you're dealing with so that you can compare the two informations. Chances are the folks you love to listen to and the folks you hate to listen to aren't both on the same page, obviously, but aren't both saying what is pure truth. There's a little bit on both sides going back and forth that you'll miss out if you're not willing to open up to the other side. And the third thing is simple: limit your ability to be around the crazies, limit your access to people who are the first to panic. Take care of who you can take care of, but there are some people out there who are going to be more susceptible to the oddities of a panic action, and you need to limit your activities with those people because what's going to happen is they're going to infect your grouping, and eventually all of you will realize that there's no reason to live whatsoever. when there's plenty of reason to live for lots of so-evers. Just one person in a state of panic causes a mass hysteria that is so quick to spread, you would not understand it until you see it. And then if you have to fight it, you find out it's a losing battle. So that's it. I just want to pop up really quickly and necessarily the harbinger of doom and gloom or grand news. There's a lot of people out there talking people through the situation, and I'm just glad that I have the audience I do and care enough about you guys to just give a little out there for the positive stuff. Like I said, you can get that both of those or get that whole thing in a more calmer, collected, and more gathered version. I always get scattered when I'm doing videos by searching for the Project Positive Message Podcast or 10-Minute Life Lesson Podcast. Those two podcasts I put out on Friday, which essentially goes through all those steps just like that. So you can check those out. And I'd love for you to subscribe to those and get more of those things. I also intend to do more of the videos. I intended to do a lot more videos a while back. Luckily or unluckily, I got back to gainful employment, and it is pretty time consuming, especially since I literally spent the last week preparing the university that I'm working for a school shutdown. Oddly enough, I can't do Facebook Lives and flip up my phones in the middle of walking people through how to do their online classes. Go figure. So there's that. But I will get back on track with more videos. I also actually had a couple courses I was working on before I got into the swing of that thing. So very soon you'll see much more in the way of content from me. So if you like the content you've seen from me, give me a chat. Say something on the chat, whether you see me on the Facebook or YouTube. These are going live on those platforms. Send me an email at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. Put coronavirus video in the subject line or something like that so I know what's going on. Hit me up on social media. I'm J. Cleveland Payne pretty much anywhere I am. That's it. And the most important thing is reach out to somebody out there who might be a little panicked right now. If they are that person that I described that freaks out really, really bad, then don't spend that much time on the phone with them. But reach out on a chat, do a little bit of a texting, call somebody out there that you hadn't talked to in a while and just see what's going on. If it's your parents, call your parents. It's always good to call your parents, even when they do kind of drag on you. So check on everybody, check on family, check on friends, check on those that you love, and make sure you take care of yourself because you have to take care of yourself before you can possibly deal with anybody else. Before you can help anybody else, you must take care of yourself. I'm done for right now. More good, positive, fresh words coming from me in video form as well on the internets. Check out jclevelandpayne.net for a lot of things going on, or just keep looking on this channel for what I have coming up next. And there are great things coming next for all of us. We got this together. Let's go get it.